Hello and welcome to day 175 of 365 days of Facebook Live. My name is Jessica Lozano. I'm a women's relationship and feminine embodiment mentor, and I help women have extraordinary love lives with the love of their life, whether you are single and in preparation for union, or if you are already in union in your sacred union relationship and you want the relationship to continue to get better and better as it should with time. So today I want to talk about a topic that is really important, especially for us women who have grown up in the modern world, and now we've been very masculine forward, and now we're dropping down into our feminine bodies and allowing ourselves to be in that feminine embodiment in relationship and allow ourselves to be taken care of, to be provided, to be cherished, to be adored, to be really supported by the masculine. Because most of us have been in this masculine forward energy. I know I have been in this masculine forward energy for so many years, and I've been on this path of descending deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into my feminine, and really appreciating the differences, the complementary differences between the masculine and the feminine within myself and within union. So when it comes to initiating sex, some of my women who are who have a very high sex drive, some of the women may be like, oh, what? But just hear me out for the whole thing before you start typing away. And let me know how this also resonates with you. So the initiator of sex is going to mainly be the masculine. Why is that? Because the masculine energy is the initiator in things. Just masculine energy in general, right? It's the doing energy. It's the one that goes after things. It's the one that responds to something and goes for it. That is the masculine energy. And if you are a woman in a relationship with another person, doesn't have to be a man, but you are the one who is you've chosen to be the feminine embodiment. Your partner, in this case I'm just going to say man to make things simple, your man is the masculine energy, which means he is the initiator. He is the one to initiate sex. Now, what does that really mean? Does that mean you never go to kiss him first? Well, on a date, I would definitely say, as you are in the courting and the beginning phases, yes, absolutely you want him to kiss you first. That is absolutely you being in your feminine embodiment and allowing him to take charge, to take lead, to kiss you. And you can see how that is a masculine energy. We can already see that. So there is no difference with sex. With sex, even in your long-term union, now this doesn't mean that sometimes you don't initiate first, right? Through a giving back energy because you feel really called to give back. But in general, men should be the ones initiating sex. Even if you have a high sex drive and you're like, oh my God, I am so wet, I am so this. Your job is to be in your feminine energy and be so into your pleasure, be so into your oh my God, my pussy is just gorge. She is wet. My panties are wet. Even maybe having a little bit of flirtatious conversation with your man like that, or just putting some really good music on, maybe drinking a glass of wine if that's cool with you, or drinking something that makes you feel super sensual, and really playing with yourself, playing with your own arrows, just with the energy and allowing the energy of your pleasure to circulate around your body, and your man is going to respond to that. He is going to be like, whoa, look at this hot babe that I have next to me that's really inviting me in through her energy and through how she's so into herself, and maybe how she's giving me little looks here and there, yes, girl, I'm gonna go for it. and he goes for it. Now, what do you do if he kisses you first and you're starting to make out and you're like, ooh, do you go down on him first? Right? Because if you go down on him, that's initiating oral sex, and then that could possibly lead into more sex, into penetrative sex. But I would say, if you've been very used to doing everything first in the sexual area, I would start to pull back, especially when you're dating. First of all, when you're dating, you shouldn't be having sex. And my recommendation, if you haven't really felt like you're with the one, my recommendation is definitely waiting like 3 months ish to really see if this man is worthy of your holy grail. When you meet the one, usually you know really fast, and also still him like initiating would be a really just like a natural response anyways. Like, not always, because I'm not gonna lie, I initiated sex first. I put the moves in first. I'll tell you that later. That's a whole different story. So, but I didn't know any about this polarity stuff. So I would say for the most part, Braun and I had our polarities very much there already, just through our own authentic expressions. And then over time, I started to learn more about this, and I started to see this was the next level of evolution in our union. And I really loved it, because for me, I was someone who was always so much in my masculine energy, and I could really see where it was starting to affect me, right? So, and then when I reflect back on this and this initiating sex, I'm like, holy shit, I've initiated sex with every single partner in the past, right? I initiated it. I was the one who said it, and I was very, very, very much in my masculine energy. I was in my masculine energy, in that energy of like, not necessarily, yeah, like pursuing, 100% pursuing. Even with my ex, I absolutely initiated that. Hands down, I did. And look at how that relationship ended up, right? And, but anyways, so with the initiating, back to where I was, if you are making out with your partner and you go down on him, you are the one who is initiating. And if you've been used to doing this all the time in your relationship, I recommend to start pulling back a lot more so that he can start pushing. He could be the one initiating. Why is that? Because initiating, you want to make sure that he is still in his masculine energy, because how you do one thing is how you do another. So there's somewhere else in your relationship that you're going to notice that you are probably like cutting in first before he can actually complete or initiate a job, right? It could be in anything. It could be easy as a conversation, maybe always cutting him off in the conversation, or something else that it's just very nuanced in relationship that you may be able to see with time, or with just me giving you these observations to start looking at. So what does this mean too? Because if you have a very high sex drive, you're very much aroused, you are already ready. Maybe you don't need a lot of time to prepare for sex, as some other women who really need their partner, as I, to really get me like warmed up and ready. So of course he's going to be initiating a lot more for me. So, but if you're on the opposite end of the spectrum and you're like, well, I'm more forward with it because I am always really turned on, what I would invite you to do in your relationship is start to pull back, because this is a conversation that I had with someone recently. This is why I'm saying like, this is good. This is why I want to talk about this, and why like, for women who have high sex drive are probably like, what? Start pulling back more and start communicating with your body how you are feeling as you're being kissed. Maybe even how you start to touch him. Like really drop down into your body and feel the turn on, and feel the excitement and the anticipation of what's going to happen next, versus prematurely going for it right away. Because here's the thing, men are always going to say they want sex. They're rarely going to turn you down. Most men, like on my previous live, we talked about how some men have erectile dysfunction, or some people are taking medication where their sex drive has really, really, really reduced, or perhaps other things in their life that the reason why their sex drive is down. So for the most part, though, men are going to be the ones that are going to be initiating, right? So, what was the point of me saying that? Like lost my train of thought. initiating that. So as a woman, you're the one who responds and says yes or no. Like, yes, I want to continue more, or no, I really want to, like, you know, I'm really not feeling it right now, or maybe I'm open to it, and, you know, maybe I need to do a little bit more of this, right? So that allows him to, he's responding to you by your energy that you have descended into, and then he starts to make the moves. He starts to move to the second base, to the third base, whatever it is. And you get to respond. You also get to say, yes, this is what I like. This is what I feel. This is what I want. This is what I desire. All of the things, right? So I would recommend to do this if you've been very much more the initiator in your union and you want to be the feminine embodiment, and start leaning back and descending down to the anticipation and to the turn on with your partner, so that he can start initiating more. He can start responding to you. He can start responding to your energy versus you going quickly and like making it happen because you feel really turned on and you really want to move it forward. Like you're ready to go. Let's turn it on. Let's go for it. Which are there times where that's completely appropriate, and then with time, as you learn how your feminine body descend and how his masculine energy really interact best in your sex life, of course. And if you have been very forward and you want to be forward, meaning more masculine, you want to be more in your feminine embodiment, I highly recommend trying this and to see what happens. So the other thing that can happen is when we're feeling pleasure, that we want to immediately go for the orgasm right away, right? That's very masculine based. Like, feel the pleasure, ejaculate, boom, right? We're done. But for the woman, and how we can expand also our pleasure and the ability to how much pleasure we can hold when you are already feeling that pleasure coming up as you're making out with your partner, or as something happened during the day where you're turned on. If you can elongate that and allow him to initiate sex, you are expanding how much pleasure you can hold in your system. You are expanding how much that can be held in your body, how much of that yummy, juicy feeling that you're feeling can move in your system, right? It's a lot of sensation, right? This is the opposite of when you hold negative emotions or lower vibration emotions. When you're learning how to ride the waves of your emotion without collapsing, this is the polar opposite, right? This is the polar opposite of that, which is also just as important, so you can experience more and more and more and more pleasure in your life in all areas, not just orgasm, but also like love, happiness, joy, all the things, and like the fun that comes with like the teasing and all of those things. You get what I'm saying? So this is what I recommend. This is what I suggest that you play with, that you start to invite yourself in your relationship to be in that energy. Always keeping your communication open, right? How you communicate with him is really important, and see what happens. See how, as you drop down into your body and you start, men are powerful energetic readers. They are. That's what they're meant to do. They're meant to energetically read your feeling body, right? Because they respond to that immediately. That is their like ignition. So drop down, see how that feels, and see how that changes the interaction in the bedroom, and how it also can change other subtle things in the relationship. So that's today's live. I hope you had a beautiful day. It's been a rainy day here in Florida, but went to get some brunch with my girlfriends. And yeah, so let me see if there's something else I want to add to this about initiating. I would say, like, if you're like, I want to be clear what is not initiated and what is. So like, if you're going to go to sit on your man's lap and you're going to start kissing because you guys are talking, I would not say that's initiating. Initiating would definitely be going for the more deeper sexual interaction. So that necessarily wouldn't be initiating when you're already in your relationship. You've already established a level of relationship where it hasn't yet, maybe where you already kissed, what if you were dating and things like that. In union already, obviously past a lot of those stages, but like sitting on his lap would not be initiating. That would actually be sending your flirtatious energy. Him getting up off the couch, picking you up, going into the bedroom, that would be initiating. So I just wanted to get little clear nuances out of the way so that you're very clear that on how to approach your relationship and how to be flirtatious. Because I would say a woman sitting on a man's lap is absolutely a flirtatious act of feeling a sign that you're saying like, I'm available, right? So we always want to show signs. There's ways that we go first, not necessarily lead, but we go first through our body language and through our energy and through the words that we speak. And that is the invitation for them to come in. So that's just the last thing that I want to say here. As a matter of fact, if you want to learn more about your feminine embodiment when it comes to sex, and you are on this path of your feminine awakening, and you've noticed that your sex drive is pretty low, your libido, but you don't want it to be, you really love your partner, you really want to open it up, or maybe you are preparation for union and you've noticed that your sex drive is like gone, then the perfect place to start is Dripping Pleasure. It's $155 and it is a great mini program, 10 days inside of Telegram. I have practices, I have journaling prompts, I have transmissions that are gonna, holy shit, blow your mind and make you feel like, so juiced up in your body and in your energy. So highly recommend that. And then of course the other one would be Sex Priestess, which is a full-blown bigger program. Dripping Pleasure. Dripping Pleasure is also included inside of Sex Priestess. So you can do Dripping Pleasure and then upgrade into Sex Priestess, or you can do Sex Priestess and just get the whole thing. Either way, whatever you decide to do will be great. So Sex Priestess is $333, Dripping Pleasure is $155. So message me if you're interested in either one of those. And actually I'm gonna go ahead and pin them to the top here, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.